Ladies and gentlemen, FSPN, Frankie from Flatbush, live and in living color. As we're talking about the schedule release, the schedule has been released, and we're going to talk about it here today. Where are the wins? Where are the losses? We're going to go through it all and make sure people have the right and proper understanding of what the schedule is and is not. So we're going to do that here on FSPN. We're going to show you what these teams really look like. Instead of their reputation, you may not be following what's going on with the Green Bay Packers, with the Detroit Lions. What moves did they make in the offseason? Who did they lose? Who's on their team? The Chicago Bears, are they any good or are they really bad? We are going to take a look at each and every one of the rosters before we determine, is this game a win or a loss? And how many wins can we really scratch out in this schedule? So that's how we're going to do it. The schedules are out. I personally think this is a great schedule for the Jetsies. So we're going to start taking a look at that. And we, of course, will take your comments in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me okay in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me okay, if there's any problems in the chat, because we want to make sure everybody can hear what's going on before we get started. We're going to get started here in just a moment. And there's also the fact that the Jets, and some people are commenting on this already, the Jets got 0 primetime games, and people are saying that's bad. Well, no, it's good. It's good. It's great. We don't need no primetime games. Nobody needs no primetime games. We don't need it. That's for sure, as we're trying to get this train on the tracks. We don't need it. Bialy's here. He's a member of the Inner Circle. You could be a member of the Inner Circle by clicking the join button down below. And just $2 a month gets you all sorts of extras like Bialy gets. And Bialy checks it out. Then we got Nicely over here. As solid as off-season as could be. Yeah, I agree. Let me know who else is in the chat as we start to maybe take a look at this schedule. So as I was saying, people are saying, all right, well, we got no primetime games. Isn't that a slap in the face? I'm like, no, that's about right. We won 3 games last year. The NFL doesn't want to put the crappy teams, so-called or so believed, into prime time. So that's not a surprise to me. Now, people are also saying there's a tough stretch in weeks 2 through 4 against the NFC North, but as we're going to take a look at here, it's not as tough as some people would lead you to believe. Bialy says good stuff. All right. As folks start to gather in the chat room, that's good. The other thing is that the travel schedule is very reasonable for the Jets. We don't have any overseas games at all. We're not going overseas anywhere, and that's a little unusual from the norm. But that's good. So our travel is going to be one of the best travel schedules in the league. All these other teams are going over to London and Spain and France and this place and that place. We're not going anywhere outside of the U.S., so that's good. And all of our games, every single one is at 1 o'clock except for 2 at 4 p.m. That's great. Obviously, that ties into the prime time and stuff like that. But we basically have 15 1 p.m. games and 2 4 p.m. games. That's fantastic. Fantastic. So everything actually is looking pretty good with this schedule. As we take a look at it, The Jets came out with their little schedule release thing, and once again, it's creative but not very appealing. Some of these ones have been funny and good. The Jet one, as per usual, it's like, well, that's creative, but not very entertaining. So, some of these other ones we've been able to watch have been good. And so, all right, let's start taking a look. Some people are saying we're only winning 6 games right here, RPM. I disagree. Viali, we like to paint. Yeah, it's like, okay, painting's cool, but what does this really have to do with anything? So let's go ahead and take a look, start taking a look at this schedule. Right here. So here's a schedule here. Now, I think we can all agree week 1 is a dub, right? This right here is a W. Now, just in case you're confused and you don't... Oh, that doesn't go away. All right, so that's going to be tricky. But here's the team the Tennessee Titans have. They're not very good. As you can see, they have Jeffrey Simmons and not much else. A lot of average and below average players. Their offensive line is bad. We're going to have a field day. I predict actually a blowout here. It's going to be 31-10. We're going to have fun running all over Salah. There's just not enough good players. Take a look. You can just go by the colors. These are not good players here, except for Simmons, of course. And then on offense, they're just starting to build it. They have a decent running game. They got Tate, the rookie, over here. But their offensive line is bad. They're not going to be we have a better team. We're going to win this one. So that's one win right off the bat. W. How can I keep track of these so I don't lose? Well, I'm going to have to manually write it. All right, hang on a second. I thought all right, we're going to have to hang on a second. Hang on a second. All right. So Tennessee, that's a dub. Now, you might say, well, Green Bay, that's definitely going to be a loss, right? Well, not when you take a look at their actual team. Now, the good thing about facing Green Bay is that they're not going to have Micah Parsons. Probably. So if you look at this, look at their defense. That's not very good. How is this good? This isn't good. Their safeties are good. Their defensive line is bad. And remember, Parsons, their elite players, not going to be in there. So this is a very beatable team, and they're coming to MetLife. Well, what about the offense? Well, we all know Jordan Love's good. The running back's good. And they have good tight ends and receivers. So what's the problem? Well, it's the other thing called the offensive line. Look at this offensive line. This is not a good offensive line. I think this gets them in trouble. They have one guy who's good, Zach Tom. This is terrible. So I think Jordan Love's going to be running for his life the whole game. And then, again, look at the defense. Remember, no Parsons. Almost certainly no Parsons. So I think this is a close game, but we get a dub. People are going to say that's they're not going to understand. They're just going to think about Jordan Love. What about his offensive line? What about that defense? Both not good. So I say we start the year 2-0. Then we got to go to Detroit. People say, well, that's a hard game, Frankie. There's no way the Jets are going to beat Detroit in the Aaron Glenn Bowl. Aaron Glenn returns to Detroit. Well, you may not understand that their offseason hasn't been good. Look at this team. Yeah, they got Hutchinson. Here's their defense. This is not good. Their defensive line isn't good. DJ Reed didn't have a great year last year for them. Terrion Arnold isn't good. Their safeties are good, but they're coming back from injury. Campbell, the linebacker, is good, but Barnes is average. Rodriguez coming back from injury. This is not a good defense. All right, but what about the offense? Well, we all know about Sam Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown and J-Mo. But again, this offensive line, especially in the middle, is not great. They used to have one of the best offensive lines. Now they have a very average one. We all know Penei Sewell is elite, but other than that, this is looking average to below average. And their other receiver is Isaac Tesla. What? So this is not a good team. I mean, we all know Gibbs is, so they have some elite talent here. Jameer Gibbs, Amon-Ra, Laporta, and J-Mo are all excellent skill players, but this O-line is not what it used to be. And I don't think it's very good. And I think Goff, who's not mobile, he's good quarterback, of course, but when you get him moving off the spot, he's not good. And with this O-line, I don't know. Who's good on this defense other than Hutch and Campbell? They do have two elite players. Okay. All right. Other than that, Branch is really good, but he's coming back from a serious injury. You don't know what he is. Same thing with Kirby Joseph coming back from a serious injury. Same thing. And Arnold's no good. DJ Reed was pretty average last year. This is not a great team. This is a beatable team. So you know what? They're a beatable team. I'm giving us the dub. So far, we're 3-0. Dub. Now, we got to go on the road again. Caleb Williams in Chicago. All right, well, let's see what Chicago is up to this offseason. How's their team looking? Now, we got to go on the road. And again, this team here, look at this defensive line. This is not good. Sweat is good. Montez Sweat, fine. This is not good. Grady Jarrett's 1,000,000 years old. Sanborn, you really think Bush is this elite? Devin Bush, he's been in the league for so long. All of a sudden, he comes up with an elite grade? Look at this guy. He was 62, 59, 34, 58. All of a sudden, he's an 87. What? Get out of here. Otherwise, it's pretty average or below average. And then over here, we all know they got Loveland. He's awesome. And Swift is awesome. And Burden's great. And Adunze is great. But look at this offensive line. Garrett Bradbury stinks. Jones is no good. Wright is excellent. Thuney. But Thuney's 1,000,000 years old. He's just going to play till he's 50. Jonah Jackson's excellent. But they basically have 3 out of 5. And then you have Caleb, who, very up and down. The Iceman. So I'd say this is a winnable game, but it's on the road. It's it would be almost too unbelievable. So I'm going to say W. We're going to lose this one. All right. So we're 3-1 the first quarter. Then we come back home and we got the Browns. All right. So, now, the Cleveland Browns are an interesting team in that they do have a good defense. They have Myles Garrett, of course, and they have a good defensive line here. So the defense is solid, but their offensive line is very bad. And what about the quarterback position? Hefe says, have to remember that Geno alone upgrades the offense 1,000%. Then all added weapons and depth on defense, we improved all 3 levels. Yeah, I should say that I am assuming that Geno Smith, we're getting Seattle Geno plus. I think this is the best team that Geno's ever been on since the Renaissance. And so I should say that I am anticipating Seattle Geno plus, where he threw for 4,000 yards 3 times. Well, 1 year he just missed it. And PFF had him graded in an elite grade every year. So that is an assumption that I am making. But look at this team. They don't have great wide receivers. They're hoping Casey Concepcion does good as a rookie. But Jerry Jeudy's not good. Tillman, he's not good. And then they also got Denzel Boston. Maybe he'll be good, maybe not. They have a good, okay tight end, Fannin. Good running back, Judkins. But what the hell are they doing at quarterback? Nobody knows. So I would say this is another dub. Even though this is a tough defense, they lost a linebacker. I mean, this is a solid defense. It is. But so I would say a low scoring game, but a dub. Dub, 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 loss, dub. All right. Now we're 4-1. Then we got to go on the road to New England. All right. Well, what did New England do this offseason? How's their team looking? Well, okay, this defense looks really solid, all right? You know, it's hard to poke a hole in this defense. So that's solid. And then the offense, I mean, the only thing you could say, so they picked up Romy the Homie over here. They got Pop Douglas. They got Keyshawn Butte. They're also going to add A.J. Brown, everybody thinks. So you can see, and then May is elite, and then Stevenson, very good still, and they have the youngster back there too. And then they picked up Vera Tucker, who doesn't have a grade, but we all know how good he is when he's healthy. They have Lomu over here. I don't think he's going to play here. I think he's going to play right tackle, although look how good Morgan Moses was last year. I mean, the ageless wonder over there. So this is a very good team. How much of these grades are inflated because they had the softest schedule in the history of the universe? I don't know. But still, just looking at the personnel they have, I think this is a solid team. And so this is a road game, so I'm going to give us an L. So far we got dub, 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 L, dub, L. But I do think we can compete with New England, but I think on the road they'll pull it out. And then Miami comes to us, which sucks that they're not coming to us later with the cold and everything, but week 7 they come to us, but they do not have a good team, as everyone knows. So this is going to be an easy, well, nothing's easy in the NFL, but should be a win. Let's remind ourselves what the Dolphins did here. They basically have nothing. They're totally rebuilding. Their O-line is a work in progress. They really have no receivers. They do have Malik Willis. Good luck, sir. With this team, they did re-up Achane. So they do have a running back, but their offensive line is a mess. Their wide receivers are a mess. Their tight ends are a mess. And they really don't have much on the defensive side other than Jordan Brooks. And, So this is a dub, right? I mean, we can all agree. That's a dub. That's a dub. So, I mean, the season's coming along pretty good. Dub, 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 loss, dub, loss, win. Right? So already that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 wins already. Then we got the Las Vegas Raiders coming in. And you know what I'm going to say about that? That's a W. That's 6 wins already. We're up to week 8 here. Let's just check in on their team, and so you can see, I'm not kidding, that they're in rebuild mode. We all know that. Las Vegas Raiders, basically got Crosby and, yeah. Ooh. Oh, boy. And on offense, they do have some pieces, of course. They have John Genty and they have Brock Bowers, and they have Linderbaum and Colton Miller. Okay. They got basically two offensive linemen. They got a running back, and they got one receiver who's a tight end, Brock Bowers. Everything else, and we'll have to see if it's Mendoza at that point or Kirk O'Chains, but any way you slice it, this is a dub. This is not a good team. So far, we're 6-2. We're at the halfway point of the season. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. But then we got Kansas City. That's probably a loss, although I think it's winnable. So far, this is the way it's gone. Dub. This is not even unrealistic. Then you got Kansas City. Now we're on the road. We got to see if Mahomes is the same player after with the knee. Does it affect his mobility any? but this is almost certainly going to be a loss. Although I could see us being competitive in it. Let's just see. Oops. Let's just see what the Jefes look like. Now, we're not going to get the Justin Fields return game, so that revenge game. So you can see here their defense is still pretty good. You know, I don't think it's that great. I mean, Chris Jones is getting old. I don't think Peter Woods is good. That's my opinion. Other people would disagree. They did pick up Mansour Delane in the draft. He should be good. Gator Kohu in the slot, maybe. And then on offense, this offensive line isn't good at all, except for Creed Humphrey. These people stink. So, I mean, and Travis Kelce's on his last legs. You know, how good is he going to be? So I could actually see us winning it, but let's just, some Mahomes magic. It's on the road. Let's say they pull it out. This is not really a powerhouse team here. Really. But still. All right. Then we got the Bills. I don't think we can beat the Bills even at home. Although, so that's another loss. So that's 2 losses in a row here. Then we got the Chargers. That's going to be a loss. So this is actually the tough stretch right here. And then we got to go down to Miami. That should get us off, but really get us off the schneid. But really, we probably are going to have 3 L's here. That's really the tough stretch. And then I think we get a dub there. But let's take a look now at the Bills, because maybe we forget, what did the Buffalo Bills do this offseason? Now, if you look at this defense, well, it's not great. I don't think you could look at this and say it's great. They do have Oliver and Rousseau, who are great, but other than that, this is looking pretty average. And then on offense, well, that's where their resources are. This is a really solid offensive line. They picked up DJ Moore over here. And, of course, they have the alien Josh Allen and then James Cook and all that. So this offense is looking really solid. But the defense, I don't think they really improved it that much. Bradley Chubb, GJ, well, okay. Geno Stone, what? Yeah, okay. So I think this is, the offense is looking good for them for sure. But if I was a Buffalo fan, I would be really worried about this defense. This is no bueno. But still, with Josh Allen and everything else, I think they'll prevail over us. And same thing, let's take a look at the Chargers. Now, I think the Chargers are a Super Bowl contender. Let's see if I am right. It's amazing Khalil Mack is still elite at his age. Well, this defense could be good, could be average, but then on the offense, see, I don't understand what they did with their offensive line. They didn't really fix it. They're getting Joe Alt back and they're getting Rashawn Slater back, and that's great. They're getting their top-notch tackles back. The problem was they needed guards, and they got Cole Strange. What? And then they drafted Jake Slaughter, a center, and they already had Tyler Biadasz, who's good at center. And he's never played guard before, Jake Slaughter. So one of the things that's been curious, why didn't they improve the guard position more? It was an obvious need going into the offseason, and they didn't do much there. They just picked up David Njoku. All right. I don't know if he moves the needle much. They don't really have an explosive wide receiver here for Justin Herbert, but you figure McDaniel will figure it out. But at the same time, McDaniel can't figure out something if they can't block. So that could be their Achilles heel, actually. But they're still a playoff, slash Super Bowl contenders. So that's a loss for us. And then we have the Dolphins. So then we got to go at Miami, but I think that's a win right there. So that gets us off the schneid there. So that makes us 7-5 at this point. Going into the bye. So when we're at the bye, we'll be 7-5 according to my calculations. That's where we are. And the world, and the Jets world will live as one. I may be a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. Yeah, we just went over this one. Joe the Jet G. Halfway says, but if we can actually, for once, pressure Allen, he's prone to make mistakes down the field. That's the beauty of our roster. We can compete it. Yeah, I would agree with that. Let's hope that Aaron Glenn doesn't do any of that man coverage bullshit against Josh Allen, because he knows how to beat that. It's called run. It's not hard to figure out. When everybody's in man-to-man coverage, the quarterback can run his ass off, and with his talent, he can do so. All right. Then we got Denver coming in. All right. So now Denver is an interesting game. Now, by then we'll know about Bo Nix and his health. Obviously, he might miss a few games in the beginning. Who knows? But you think about the defense of Denver, and you say, wow, that's a great, great defense. Well, they lost a few pieces. They lost JFM. They've lost some other people. But it's still a really good defense. Strenad, Singleton as the linebackers. Benito is really good. The D-line getting a little bit older with Zach Allen and Malcolm Roach. Jonathan Cooper. But this is still a really good defense. I don't know if it's going to be as elite as it has been, but it's still really good. Then the offense, if you look at this, this is a really good offensive line. They picked up Waddle. So the only Achilles heel for this team, not to make a pun, but it could be Bo Nix. Because Bo Nix, as we all know, the way he wins is he's bad for 3.5 quarters, and then in the fourth quarter, the defense has kept the game close, and then he does some Nixian magic, which is basically run around until the defensive backs get tired and find somebody. And that's what he does. And this is sort of a newfangled thing for quarterbacks. Caleb Williams does the same thing. Bo Nix, the Giants guy, Jackson Dart. They run around, especially in the fourth quarter. They run around for 5 minutes, and then the DBs get tired. Somebody uncovers, and then they throw a pass. I think defensive coordinators are going to figure out a way to deal with that. Perhaps 2 spies on Mr. Nix and these types of quarterbacks. But is that ability going to be limited by the fact that he's now had 2 surgeries upon his ankle? And, now he's probably going to be ready for the regular season to play, but is it going to affect his quality any? Number one. And number two, what about his conditioning? He hasn't been able to do any off-season conditioning. Obviously, when you have a leg injury, you can't be running and doing your conditioning all off-season like you normally would be. So does that affect him? We don't know. But this would be kind of hard for us to say we're going to win this game, though. There's just too many good players on the field, as you can see. But you could, if Nix has a bad game, or if Nix isn't the same this year as he always has been, that's the way we could do. But still, I'm going to just say that's not the case. Even though we're coming off a bye and we're at home, I just think they're too good. So that's an L. I'm going to go loss there. But then we have the Cardinals, and they're not good. So this is going to be a dub. So I gave us an L there. Then we're at Arizona. Going to give us a dub. But let's just check out Arizona. They're rebuilding, as we know. The LaFleur revenge game. Here's the Cardinals, and as you can see, they're not very good. Very few good players. Even Buda Baker's slowing down now in his old age. So they're rebuilding. The offensive line looks okay now. They could have really solidified it here if they picked a Maui Noah or somebody like that. They didn't. Their offense actually looks pretty good. But they have Brissett as a quarterback, so, back of the league type quarterback. They did pick up Kendrick Bourne, decent. So the offense is looking okay, with quarterback being a point of, contention. He's just sort of like an okay-ish quarterback here. And they got one big hole on the O-line. Sayamalu gets hurt a lot. But this defense needs a ton of work. So they'll probably put up a decent amount of points in the game, but I'd say this is a dub. Then we got New England at home. Now, I gave us a loss on the road. I'm going to give us a dub here because the same holds true. I think we can stack up against them and being at home. So in other words, we would split with New England. And that's our 9th win of the year. We already looked at New England. We don't need to look at that. But then we got at home, we got the Vikings. Now, we don't know who the quarterback's going to be at this point in time for the Vikings. They got Kyler Murray, and they got, of course, JJ. So, but at this point in the season, we'll certainly know who they picked and how it's gone. I am not a big Kyler Murray fan. I don't think he's very good. But, of course, they have this Brian Flores defense, which got worse over they traded away Grenard, and they think Turner's going to step up and be the next Grenard. We'll see. They picked Banks in the first round with his broken feet. We'll have to see. Otherwise, this is kind of an average-ish defense. And then here's the problem that they have. Obviously, their skill position players are good. Justin Jefferson, excellent. Addison, excellent. Hawkinson, excellent. And they just picked up Juwan Jennings. Very good. All right. And they're running back fine. But here's the problem. Juergens, Fries, Jackson, even Darrisaw's not playing well after injury. I don't think their O-line is good enough. And then you have Kyler Murray, who has a decent grade here. But by this point in time, people are going to have so much tape on Kyler Murray if he's playing. Because if you play Kyler Murray to get any production out of him, you have to play the Mickey Mouse RPO offense. We'll see if KOC does that or if he tries something else, which would be a disaster. But even if you're playing Mickey Mouse RPO bullshit offense like Cliff Kingsbury did to get some stats out of Kyler Murray, then teams figure that out. That's why they would always swoon in the back half of the season. Teams would figure out what the heck you're doing over time and then take those things away. And then he can't do the other things that you need to do as a quarterback because he's so tiny. And that's it. And then he falls apart. So I believe that's what's going to happen here. So actually getting them late in the season is actually good for us. We'll know what's going on with Murray. Now, if they go J.J. McCarthy, then that's a huge question mark. Who knows what the hell he's going to be. But given all of that, offensive line still has major problems. Defense took a step back with Grenard being traded. I'm going to say this one's a dub. And that's win number 10. There's our 10th win. It's very easy. And then Buffalo, wherever it is, whenever it is, that's going to be an L. We can't beat Buffalo. I mean, maybe we could hang with them. Maybe they're sitting their starters, whatever it is. But for now, I'll just say now. But even with 2 losses to Buffalo, 1 loss to New England, we still get to 10. I don't think that's unrealistic. Is that unrealistic? Let me know in the chat. Am I being unrealistic? I see it 10 and 6 easy. And there's other games we could probably hang in and maybe steal. I don't know. That's how I break it down. 10-6 playoffs. Here we come. Let's go Jets. How about that? Let me know if you think I was being overly optimistic in the chat. Let me know. Let me know. Chat check. Chat check. Let me know. And it's just been, as of 2 minutes ago, it has been announced that the Jets preseason will be as follows. August the 14th versus the Buccaneers. So that'll be an interesting team. Good friend Todd Bowles and Aaron Glenn, very close. Then August 21st at the Steelers. So we're going at Pittsburgh. So Mike McCarthy. And then August 28th versus the Gigantes. Some guy says, I think it's high. Bialy says, I see 8 to 9 wins. All right. I think it's easy to get. I think it's easy to get to 10 wins with this schedule. People think, because people are going to overthink the Packers and Lions and Bears. Bears is another game. Caleb Williams is very volatile. There's another game we could win. I gave us an L on that one. We could start the year 4-0, 5-0 with Cleveland. But I gave us an L there. Caleb is very volatile up and down. You don't know what the hell you're getting out of Caleb week to week, but maybe he'll become more consistent this year. But people think the Packers are better than they are. Now, the Packers are going to get a lot better once they get Micah Parsons back. So this is the Packers minus Micah. And then the Lions. The Lions are not the same team. They have gotten a lot worse. That O-line has gotten degraded. Hayburn says, it's not crazy, but I'm thinking 9 wins. All right, well, we'd take 9 wins for sure. We don't even have to travel far in preseason. Is that true? Yeah. Versus Bucks, so they're coming here. Then we got to go to the Steelers, which is right next door. And then versus Giants. Yeah, we're not even, that's the other thing. Some of these teams are going to be traveling back and forth to international games, and that could affect their season. We're not traveling. We have a very easy travel schedule. So which one of these teams is going to be coming back from some international trip or something? Even if it was 2 weeks ago, that could take a lot out of your legs and so forth. Jojo says, loving the Colts schedule. Oh, good. So hopefully they have a hard schedule. That'd be great. Let's go Colts losses. Ablab, 10 wins, high side, 7 wins, low. Yeah, I'd say 7 to 10. That's a good bucket. And that'll mean that we're on the right track. Everybody stays hired. We don't have to go through another firing cycle and keep it all that way. And that'll be good for continuity. And then we head into next year with some optimism and 3 first-round picks, and away we go. Some guy says, the thing is, we have several rookies. Well, that's every team. The good thing is, with the rookies, think about it. So we took Kenyon Sadiq and Omar Cooper. Let's think about them on the offensive side. What if they get off to a slow start? They're rookies after all. They may not play well. Yeah, well, we got Mason Teller and Jeremy Rucker to back them up. And we just picked up Tim Patrick. He's, a nice little backup. But we also have Garrett Wilson and A.D. Mitchell and Isaiah Williams. So if Omar Cooper gets off to a slowish start, he's taking a little time to get acclimated. All right, we got enough depth. And I don't really see them. You never know with rookies. But the same could be said with every team. What if Tennessee's rookies all stink? They had 2 picks. What if Mansour Delane stinks? You know what I mean? Like, what if? So you could say the same thing about every team that had holes to fill. Their rookies could stink too. So it's all equal, right? But the good thing is we got a plethora of them. And as long as, as long as the top 4 guys make an impact, the only rookies that really matter, they all matter, but that matter a lot, are basically Bailey, Sadiq, Cooper, and Pons. As long as Bailey and Pons are good, then if the other 2 get off to a slow start, that's okay. We got backups. We got resiliency. And so, we're good. I think Mooj has done a really nice job with the roster. And so really, and even if you think about it, Bailey, what if Bailey gets off to a slow start? He doesn't quite, he's having trouble acclimating. All right, we got Osai and Agbare for the time being. Let the kid, slowly ramp up. It's all right. It's okay. So I think that's the beauty of what Mooj did in free agency. Got a bunch of floor raisers, and that really helps. Maybe it's a thing where Bailey, is going to ramp up his snap count. All right, then we got Osai and Agbare, Will McDonald, no problems. I'm kind of rooting for Pascal Akeji, but that's the long shot of all long shots. But that's a personal Frankie keeping an eye on type thing. But we have resiliency, so we have experienced guys everywhere where there's a rookie. D'Angelo Pons. What if D'Angelo Pons starts stinking it up and he can't do it and he's having trouble? All right. Well, then Jarvis Brownlee plays the nickel, and our two outside corners are Stevens and Azaria Thomas. All right. Not great. Not good. You would like for it not to be that way, but we have options. All right. No big deal. Oh, yeah. What about, yeah, this is a good call. What about the Jets one, Frankie? You forgot to show us. Oh, yeah. So here's the Jets. As you can see, we have a lot of green, a lot more than other teams. Green, deep greens. Now, here's the outlier, and this is the one I want us to improve, Cisco, right? And they also have Nahshon Wright starting for us. But here's the offense. A lot of green out here. And the O-line is solid. I would expect Tipman and Membu and Fashanu to all improve, but, other teams' fans would say the same about their young players. But you can see the offense, right? A solid O-line, not elite, solid, better than anything Geno had in Seattle. Really good wide receiver out here. Underappreciated receiver out here. He wasn't able to put up a good grade because no one could throw him the frickin' ball properly. But, elite running back here. And with this basic team here, with Parham and Simpson being traded out, we had a top 10 running attack last year. And oh, by the way, Tim Patrick is going to help in the run game. In case you didn't know, it's going to be a little C-gap insert action with Mr. Tim Patrick. That's going to help out Breece Hall even more. I expect Breece Hall to have I'm not showing this. Jeez, I went through that whole explanation. All right, we'll start over. All right, here's the defense. As you can see, lots of green here. Deep green. And then some average players. We got to improve right here. I still think we can improve on Andre Cisco. But as you can see, deep green. How many teams had this much deep green that we looked at? Not many. Then you come to the offensive side. Look how many greens. Deep green. Hall, elite. Wilson, red chipper. Membu, red chipper already. Solid O-line with the Myers being the weak link. And then Mitchell, of course, we all expect him to improve. And then Cooper and Sadiq, the first-round picks. But this offensive line here is is better than anything that Geno had in Seattle, and he still put up 4,000 plus yards. I just graded a game with Geno right here. This fourth game of the 2022 season, he was an A+. One of the highest games I ever graded. It's amazing. But, just look how much green there is here compared to these other teams. And especially on defense, which is maligned. And I think we got to improve Cisco here. But, Pons isn't on here. They're not showing Pons. If we go nickel, they're putting Brownlee in here instead of Pons. And they got Nahshon Wright out here. And the reason we all know Brownlee's grade is so low is because of the penalties. But this isn't even showing, and plus, this isn't even showing, Harrison Phillips and Juwan Briggs, who are I think in the 70s and 80s. So there's very few teams that have as good a defensive line as we have now. And plus the number two overall pick in the draft, Mr. David Bailey, should have a big impact. And of course, hopefully, Azareye'h Thomas wins this job from Nahshon Wright, but Wright could win it. So, and then I still think we got to go get Kenny Moore. I don't know why we're not. I don't want Andre Cisco being on here, but so there you go. I think that's one of the reasons that I'm maybe higher than most with this. So yeah, there you go. 10 wins. Easy. Easy peasy. So let's see. So Zach Rosenblatt has a column out that he just put out with his thoughts on the schedule. And he thinks the toughest stretch is from weeks 1 through 4. Nope. Wrong-o. Predicted record 6-11. 6-11, says Zach Rosenblatt. Well, I can see why people would think that. And it's because they're not looking at the teams, like we just did. Hi, Karate says, I love the Jets. All right. Thanks, Eddie. We'll see you. So let me know if you think, Zach Rosenblatt's coming out and saying 6-11. I think now I understand why people are going to be pessimistic. They're not scouting Geno Smith like I am. They're not looking at the tape. They're not looking at the rosters of the other teams. They don't know that the Lions got a lot worse. The Packers are not that great without Micah Parsons. The Bears got a little bit worse, and Caleb is high variance and all this. So I can understand the pessimism, but I think they're going to do way better than 6-11. I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I too optimistic? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. And I also think we're going to benefit from not having any short weeks, not having any international travel. Jojo says 8 wins, 8-10. People really aren't, understanding the effect of international travel and crazy short weeks. We don't have any short weeks. None. Zero. We're going to have a very regimented schedule. Maybe toward the end they flex us because if we do as good as I think, some of those games then are going to be exciting. So maybe we get flexed in at the end of the season type of thing. But otherwise, yeah. Jets always perform better when they have zero. Well, that hasn't been the case recently. We had the whole Aaron Rodgers deal, and then, this second overall pick quarterback everybody wanted to see, Zach Wilson, so. Yeah, what this schedule really tells you is the NFL really does have zero expectations, and you can see why somebody like Zach Rosenblatt saying 6 wins. Because if you were really a good team, then wouldn't you have some primetime games and da-da-da-da? But no one can see that we're going to be a pretty good team. A big part of it is going to be our new strength and conditioning staff. Sure. More importantly is the players. They're a lot better. All right. Well, we'll call it a night then. That's the schedule. Thanks for joining. I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow night, we're going to have a Friday night hang, so come prepared for that. And we'll just hang out and shoot the crap and see what you guys want to talk about tomorrow night. Tomorrow night at 6 p.m. And then we'll be back Sunday night, Sunday morning, Coffee with Frankie. If it's Sunday at 10 a.m., it's Coffee with Frankie. So join at that point in time. And with that being said,